Alright, so we have already installed the Kali Linux. Let's jump to the Kali Linux and see what are the tools, locations, and all of the walkthrough. Have a short walkthrough of the Kali Linux. So this is just for the terminal. This is terminal. Let me minimize this all. There are two workspaces as of now by default. We will also customize this, like here the workspace 2 and the workspace 1. This is the workspace 1 having the only this terminal opened. Now if I'm moving back to and switching to the workspace 2, there will be nothing opened. So this is also beneficial in most of the cases where you are going to use the multiple tools in workspace 1 and some of the other tools in the workspace 2, so that there will be nothing mesh up with the all of the tools, and you don't need to minimize every time. And of course there are settings for every workspaces to switch between, and we will see in the next couple of lessons. So moving back to the first workspace, we can now see here the terminal is opened. So the first we can see on the top is the Kali tools. Here is the all of the tools, settings, and all of the almost every details of the Kali Linux are available here. We can search and type, that will be displayed. So the first thing first, once you start the Kali Linux in the live mode, there will be a display mode that will be something like small in size, like this one. As you can see, this is the smaller in size. So at this time you can stretch it out, but this is already setting done to do so and perform the access desired. And but once you start it, you will find that this is the current size that you will find yourself once you start it. So what we can do to make it resize for full, just go to this application menu here, and start menu, you can say similar to the Windows, and search for the settings. Here we can see this setting here. Go to display, and once the display is opened, we can see the resolution and the refresh rate of the display. So we do not need to change more here. We can only change the resolution of the screen or the display. So according to my system display, this is the perfect resolution that will be available, and that will be working fine. If you want, you can change it to other resolutions as well. You can see in the left pane here, virtual 1 written, that will be changing. If I am moving to the other applications like this one, and once you apply it, the effect will be applied and it will be changed. We can see there are nothing here. Once we are going to switch back here, that is not the perfect resolution for my system. That is the reason it is not shown. This was actually disappeared in other modes. And you can see the left and right part of the screen have the some of the screen left, so that is not the perfect for my screen. So this one is the 1440 by 900 is the perfect resolution for my system. Alright, so this is all done for. So once you do that, it will be preserved, and it will be for the live mode. Obviously we are using in the live mode, so once the system is shut down, you will find yourself that it is all lost. There are another method that we can use too. So moving to general, just let it close it, and the next setting that you are going to use for the Kali Linux, that will be useful, because some of the cases are there to save the power of your system, and the Kali Linux is by default to 1 minute. So 1 minute of inactivity on your system will be shutting down to the system. So moving back to and search for the power, that is the power manager here. We can go to display, and here you can see the blank after or put to sleep and switch off after. So these are the time in minutes that will be on battery, and if it is on the plugged in or the charging state. You can either disable it or just enable it. So blank one is also working on the once the power management is switched off, but rest of the two, like the sleep or switch off, will not be working. So just adjust it to at least 30 minutes for the recommended options, you can see, or according to your choice, according to your subject. as I realized that the 30 minutes is the best, because most of the cases you are going to read something on the system or they read the results of any tool's output, and in that meanwhile the system will be going to sleep or it will be asking for the password. That will be most irritating part time. So just adjust it to at least 30 minutes or 20 minutes too. So this is for the power and the screen resolution that have been done. Now what you can do once you have started it on the live system. Suppose all of the settings and any downloaded tools will also be lost if you shut it down. So if I am going to quit this window, you will see that save the machine state, send the shutdown signal, or the power of the machine. So here is the window. I am going to just close it, and you will see the save the state machine of state or the power of the machine. So this is not recommended to power of the machine if you have installed any new tools. Just do one thing, save the state of the machine, and every settings will be preserved until you go to power of the machine. So what I'm going to do is, we can see here, let me show you, this window is open as the terminal. So if I'm going to type something like the Kali Linux, and let me show you once again, here is the Kali Linux written, or let me run some of the commands. Alright, now let me close this and preserve the settings like the save the machine state. All of the settings, all of the tools, all the part of the Kali Linux will be saved. Nothing will be lost. And this is the state saving of the machine. This is the virtualization technique, or the technologies you can say, that save the state. Now you can see the machine state have been saved, and you will see the preview, but this is not the preview exactly because that was a screen flickering something at that time. It has been saved. Now what we can do is that for next time starting, just double click over Kali Linux or start this. It will be starting from that state. You can see this is the restoring virtual machine. And every time you do this, every tools will be there. We can see that the terminal is intact as it was last time. So that's all for the walkthrough of the Kali Linux for the customizations like the screen resolution and the power management of the Kali Linux. Moving back to the menu, we can see all of the tools like the information gathering, vulnerability analysis, web application analysis. Every menu have the submenu and the subtools listed here. Like going to web application analysis, we will find CMS, content management system, and the framework identifications, web application proxies that will have the pub suite, web crawlers, and the directory busters. Every tools in a list categorized manner, so that you will not find yourself that it is not easy to do that. Even more easy is the searching here. So if I'm going to search for the pub suite, it will find that. If I'm going to search for the air crack, that is the Wi-Fi cracker, we will find that. So similarly we can find that, but all of these are in a categorized manner that makes it so super easy to find everything. Like going to password attacks, all of the tools that belongs to password attacking techniques and the tools listed here. And at last we can see the social engineering tools and the Kali Linux links of other tools, Kali Linux forums, training, NetHunter, vulnerable messages that users submit from the users submit their virtual vulnerable messages. You can do so too. Alright, so there are the tools that is available inside the single menu. Here we can see the reporting tools that will be helping you in all of the findings of the tools that you have used for penetration testing or hacking to report in some specific manner. Like you can see record my desktop. This will record the entire desktop, like the screen recording that will be done. Faraday is there, Multigo is also there, Piple is there, QTCapt is there, that all may be helping you to report some of the findings from your pentesting testing engagements or doing some of the stuff on the Kali Linux. Here we can see the minimize button that will minimize everything in a one click, single click. Here is the folders or the home screen, you can say. Here is the terminal that will open the terminal. This one. Alright. Now moving to the next, this is the recording that will record the screen of the system, and here is the workspaces. We can also increase that workspaces too according to our choice. So these are the visually appearing. Now we can check for every tools installed there. So moving to the folders, open folder here, going to file system. Let me increase the size of that. Alright, so going to file system, we can see this is the file that the Kali Linux, all of the systems have been installed in that. Going to USR, this is the system, like the USR share, and here all of the tools are installed in all of the things. So if I'm going to search for the meta exploit, simply do nothing, just type it from anywhere, and it will be showing in the bottom right corner here, and the results will be also highlighted according to that. So meta exploit is here. If I'm searching for the air crack, if I'm going to USR share and searching for air crack, alright, so this application is not installed in here, and we can also see the web server, that is the Apache 2. This is the web server that is installed inside the Kali Linux, that is the by default, and we will see some of the options like the default site, that is the index.html. This will be opening in the Firefox, that is the default one, and this is the HTML file, that is the example of that its site is working. So once you set up the Apache, it will be showing up this, and in most of the cases you are going to set your own web server in order to serve the file from the Kali Linux to transfer to the target machine and to set the payload from your system to the target system. So in that case, you can deliver your own customized payload that will be malicious too in nature and transfer to the target site once it is compromised, because you can't send payload using the mail services like the Gmail or other. That will all be scanned and it will be neutralized by the antiviruses. So that is the best way. You can serve your own web server and just download from that. So this is also the best part. We will also see how the Apache is configured here, and we will configure that too in cases where it can be used to serve the files and serve the purposes. So this is the Firefox that is installed by default, and moving back to the system, going to home directory, we can see this is the home directory and the Kali Linux name is here. We will find the configurations, desktop, documents, downloads, and everything in all in one folder, one directory, we can say. So that's all for the walkthrough of the Kali Linux. In next lessons, we will see how the customizations of the command lines and the shortcuts will be useful in many cases for aspiring hacker. So learning the command line prompts or the command line tools, command line basics will be too much useful in Kali Linux perspective, because that is all commands, mostly commands will be terminal based or the command line based, and command line based tools are super easy to use and super fast in nature. So see you in the next lessons. Just try it customizing and exploring all of the locations of the Kali Linux here, so that you will find yourself. And if you find anything is stuck or anything difficulty in gathering for information from the Kali Linux, you can just ask the question, and I will be available for answering that too. As this is the beginner course, you are mostly going to use it for the first time, and there is nothing to explore in here. So we will see other things in next couple of lessons. See you ahead. Thank you.